BrettO Live!
What is going on, guys? BrettO Live back with another video, and today we have the Week in Review episode 57 setup style. As you guys know, if you guys are just tuning into the Week in Review, this is where we set up Raw and Smackdown of that certain week in a setup style. We talk about it, we give my thoughts about it. It's going to be freaking awesome. This is episode 57. Before we even get started, make sure to follow me on Instagram as well as leaving your comments down below. What you guys think of the shows? I thought Raw was amazing. I don't know if it was just me or I was just in a good mood. This Raw was amazing. I'm going to leave my rating at the end, but stay tuned for that. But I thought this Raw was amazing. Without further ado, we are going to jump right in. Starting over here, we're going to start with the thing that opened up the show. So Becky Lynch comes out. She has the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck? And I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen Becky Lynch in a long time. What is going to go down here? She comes out, puts the briefcase on this little podium stand, and then here comes Asuka. Asuka's like, hey, this is my Money in the Bank briefcase. What are you doing? And then Becky's like, the match yesterday at Money in the Bank was not for the Money in the Bank briefcase. It was actually for the Raw Women's Championship. And then Asuka's like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. And then she just goes crazy with the Raw Women's Championship. So yes, Asuka is your brand new Raw Women's Champion. Can you believe it? Asuka is your brand new Raw Women's Champion. That's insane. And then Becky Lynch calms down Asuka a little, and then she's like, you go be a champion. I'm going to go be a mother. I'm like, what? No way. So yeah, with the Monday Night Messiah and Becky Lynch, that's pretty freaking insane. I will talk about the Monday Night Messiah in a little bit. But yes, I thought this was an awesome way to open up the show. Pretty freaking cool how Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are going to be having a kid. That's pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, Becky Lynch did relinquish the Raw Women's Championship to Asuka, and Asuka is your current Raw Women's Champion, and that's insane to me. I find that absolutely insane. Moving over here, it was Angel Garza versus Akira Tozawa, and literally every week, Akira Tozawa always comes out and he just gets dominated. Always. So yes, Angel Garza beat him, and there's nothing new there. And what was interesting, though, was Angel Garza, Andrade, and Austin Theory all started having a little controversy at the end of this, and they were all fighting each other. Well, not fighting each other, but just having an exchange of words and being like, yo, what's going I'm like, oh my gosh, are they going to break up this tag team? But then, before they could break it up, Drew McIntyre came out, and then he challenged Andrade, not for the United States Championship, but a champion versus champion one-on-one match. And then Drew McIntyre and Andrade went at it. Pretty good match. I enjoyed it. In the end, Drew McIntyre hit a wicked Claymore kick, and then he also took out Austin Theory and Angel Garza were already taken out before the match. But this was freaking awesome. And yes, in the end, Drew McIntyre did pick up the victory. But after this, he said, I challenge King Corbin. I'm like, wait, what? King Corbin's on SmackDown. So yes, next week it's going to be on Raw. It's going to be King Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. Can you believe that? They said they're going to invite King Corbin over to Monday Night Raw and have a cross-brand match, which I think is pretty freaking cool. How they're going to bring King Corbin over to face Drew McIntyre. That's going to be freaking awesome. Not for the WWE Championship, but still, that's going to be freaking awesome. And I love this little match here. I thought it was awesome. Moving over here, Shayna Baszler versus Natalya. And I'm going into this match, I'm like, okay, another Natalya match. All right, this isn't going to be that good. But I thought it was pretty good. During the match, Shayna Baszler backed up Natalya in the corner twice and tripped her like this just to embarrass her, which I thought was just insane. I'm like, wow. I don't know why I liked it, but I did. Thought it was pretty good. And then in the end, Shayna Baszler did pick up the victory over Natalya. Nothing really new there. But yeah, moving on. It was R-Truth, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander versus Shane Thorne, Brendan Vink, as well as MVP, Montel Vontavious Porter. But yes, this was a pretty decent tag team match. And then, it wasn't only R-Truth in this match. It was Ricky. Ricky, the alter ego of R-Truth, was in this match. I thought it was awesome. Thought it was hilarious. And then at the end, R-Truth did pick up the victory. He did pin MVP. Very surprised. And then, before R-Truth could even get time to celebrate, Bobby Lashley came out. And then it was a double beatdown with MVP. And they just took out R-Truth. I think it's awesome. I honestly think that they could throw Bobby Lashley up there in the WWE Championship title picture. Not a lot of people are going to agree with me with that, but I think that would be pretty cool. And yeah, Bobby Lashley's just been dominant over these past Raws. It's pretty cool. Moving over here, it was Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus the Iconics. They are back on Monday Night Raw, and they are seeking the Women's Tag Team Championships, and they are starting it by beating Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They beat Alexa Bliss with like a slam to the mat, 1, 2, 3. Then it was over. I'm like, wow. So definitely in the future, Iconics are going to be getting a title opportunity, which is pretty freaking cool. And hopefully they can win them back. They are one-time tag champs, I think, and I think that's pretty cool. It's good to see them back on Monday Night Raw, and I thought that was a pretty decent moment. Moving back here, the thing that closed the show, Edge and Randy Orton in a promo. Pretty decent over here. Randy Orton's like, yeah, the better man won at WrestleMania, but the better wrestler didn't. I'm like, oh, man. And then Randy Orton's like, at Backlash, of course, the next pay-per-view, he's like, Edge, I challenge you to a wrestling match, because of course at WrestleMania they had like a sort of like a hardcore like last man standing match. That's more of like weapons, not really wrestling. But yes, Randy Orton challenged Edge to a wrestling match at Backlash, so that's going to be super cool and interesting to see Edge back in a quote unquote wrestling match at Backlash. Thought it was pretty freaking awesome. Cool to see Edge and Randy Orton back in the ring, continuing their rivalry. I think it's amazing. Moving over here, the Monday Night Messiah. This was amazing. During this entire tag team match, it was Seth Rollins and the Disciple Murphy versus Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. Thought it was pretty cool how they put them together, because of course they were the two that got thrown off the roof to a secondary roof 6 feet below, which I thought was pretty cool that they mentioned that. And yes, it was a tag team match right here. Seth Rollins on ringside, he was just sitting on the apron. He didn't move. He did not move. He was just looking at the mat. The only time he moved was to look at somebody. But then, I think, if I remember right, he did get pulled off the apron. Very interesting. And then, this match ended in a disqualification. Seth Rollins assaulted Rey Mysterio in the steel stairs. He jammed his eye into the solid steel stairs right there, and then Rey Mysterio is bleeding. His mask nearly fell off, nearly could see his face. Absolutely insane. Seth Rollins jammed his eye into the solid steel stairs. Thought it was freaking awesome. Couldn't believe it. And then, of course, Rey Mysterio had to receive medical attention. And then he was back here receiving medical attention on his head. And then Seth Rollins comes out here. He's like, Aleister Black, I don't know what happened out there. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what happened out there? And then Aleister Black takes out the Disciple Murphy, and then the security had to come break it up. Seth Rollins runs away. It's just chaos here on Monday Night Raw. But I thought it was pretty freaking awesome. I loved it. But yeah, thought that was pretty freaking awesome. And the last thing that we are going to be talking about in this Raw part of the video is the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders in a basketball game. I thought it was freaking awesome. It was a basketball game. If I remember right, it was 74-2 with 19 fouls by the Viking Raiders at the end. So yes, the Street Profits did win, but after the basketball game, this wasn't like in the Performance Center or anything. It was at probably like a local gym or something. But after the basketball game, the Viking Raiders are like, dude, we let you win. And the Street Profits are like, what? You got to be kidding me. And then they just start doing dunks and shooting three-pointers. I'm like, what the heck? But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool how they incorporated like a little NBA and WWE. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, just thought that was pretty interesting. And now, guys, we are going to get into Smackdown. And here we go, continuing the week in review, of course, with Smackdown. We can't forget Smackdown, so here we go. We are going to start over here. So, before I even get started with this, Sami Zayn has relinquished the Intercontinental Championship for unknown reasons. He might have got injured. He might be trapped in quarantine. I don't know what's going on with Sami Zayn. But yes, the Intercontinental Championship is vacated. Nobody holds it right now. So SmackDown's like, all right, let's hold a competition for it. Let's hold a tournament for it. So the first match here for the tournament, we have Baron Corbin versus Elias. Of course, winner goes on to face the next person in the tournament. And then, of course, we will have a finals match to determine who's going to be the IC champion. But yes, Baron Corbin, Elias, pretty decent match. I enjoyed it. One of the highlights of the match was when Baron Corbin... Honestly, Corbin was dominating this entire match up until this. Corbin nailed the guitar of Elias over the steel post and destroyed it. And that just fired up Elias. Elias, looking at the pieces, he's like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Corbin runs back into the ring, and then it was downhill from there. For King Corbin. Absolutely amazing. And then Elias in the end ended up rolling up King Corbin. Very surprised that Elias was able to pick up this victory. I thought for sure King Corbin was going to move on. I thought he would get really far in this Intercontinental Championship tournament, but no. So Elias is going to be moving on, and I think it's pretty cool. You know, obviously I don't think Elias is going to be winning the entire thing, but yeah, I honestly would have pulled more for Corbin, but
That's just my opinion. Moving over here, it was actually Charlotte. She actually had a brand invitation. So there's brand new things where like the brands can invite certain people to their shows, which is very interesting. It's going to be happening on Raw next week with King Corbin and Drew McIntyre. But yeah, I just thought this was very interesting. And Charlotte come out with the NXT Women's Championship, and then, of course, somebody's going to interrupt her. Bayley, Sasha Banks made it very interesting. I'm like, ooh, interesting. All three heels in the ring at the same time. Well, Charlotte, would you guys consider a heel? I would. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I'm like, whoa. And then basically Charlotte shut up Bayley and Sasha Banks by saying, Sasha, so you're just going to stay in Bayley's shadow? You're just going to stay on her coattail like this? Like, I just thought it was so interesting. I guarantee we see a match in the future with Charlotte and Bayley. Maybe even Sasha Banks in that match. That would be freaking awesome. But I was really into this promo. I thought it was pretty freaking good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, and at first I'm like, oh, here comes Charlotte. But then she came out with a good promo, not gonna lie. Moving over here, not gonna spend too much time on this. Dana Brooke versus Naomi. Nobody freaking cares about Dana Brooke. At least me. I cannot stand her. She's insanely overrated by the commentators for no reason whatsoever, and she beat Naomi again for whatever reason. I cannot stand her. Oh my gosh. I don't know why. It's just Dana Brooke is just, I don't know. I don't know, man, but I just cannot stand her. Indeed, she did beat Naomi again with literally the same roll-up that she did to beat her for the Money in the Bank qualifying match, which is so annoying. Moving over here was another qualifiers. Oh, no, not qualifiers. It was another tournament match here in the beginning matches here. Was Daniel Bryan. Interesting here. Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak, and they are now best friends, which is very interesting, of course, because they've been training each other about like different moves and all this, which I think is pretty cool. I like Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak together, and they have a match together, and they have it scheduled. I'm like, what? Drew Gulak's going to go up against Daniel Bryan? I knew it was going to be an amazing match. It was a very technical wrestling match. It wasn't like your normal WWE wrestling match. It was a very like technical, just awesome, hand-on-hand, just so cool. Just such a good match. It's not like your normal matches, like throwing you this way, throwing you this way. It's more of just like a technical submission match. And in the end, Daniel Bryan did submit Drew Gulak by taking out his leg, which was pretty interesting. He targeted his leg and his arm the entire match. I thought it was a really good match. And in the end, Daniel Bryan picked up the victory. And yes, he is going to be moving on, which is awesome. Could he be the next Intercontinental Champion? I don't know. I mean, he has a good chance, not going to lie, because he did have to retire and relinquish the Intercontinental Championship the last time he held it. So, yeah, it would be pretty cool to see Daniel Bryan win it back. Moving over here, main event of the show, Otis. He had the entire night to find a tag partner to face Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho. And, yes, in the end, Otis did find a tag partner in the form of Heavy Machinery, in the form of Otis. Freaking awesome. So it was Otis and Braun Strowman. Otis found Braun Strowman, of course, but you guys know what I mean. But yes, Otis and Braun Strowman, pretty freaking cool team to watch versus Miz and Morrison. And in the end, of course, Braun Strowman and Otis picked up the victory. Thought it was amazing. One of the highlights of the match was when both Braun Strowman and Otis did the worm. Oh my gosh, or the caterpillar to, I think it was Morrison. Could be wrong. It might have been The Miz. But it was one of them, of course. But, yeah, Braun Strowman's caterpillar or worm was terrible. But it was actually really funny to see. And then Otis did it way better, of course. But still, really cool. In the end, Braun Strowman and Otis did pick up the victory, as I said. And then Mandy came out. I don't know if Otis was trying to cash in. But Mandy got the attention of Braun Strowman. And then, Otis sneaking up from behind because, of course, he's Mr. Money in the Bank and Braun's Universal Champion. He looks like he's about to go for a roll-up, but then again, he didn't even cash in the briefcase, so it was obviously a joke. But, yes, in the end, of course, as you guys know, Braun Strowman and Otis won. But, yes, guys, that was SmackDown. That was Raw in the setup style. Really, you guys enjoyed. Raw was amazing this week. I'm giving Raw. You guys are going to be like, what? I'm giving Raw a 9 out of 10. Believe it or not, the way that they just put together Raw with no crowd and the way that they were able to deliver it to us with no crowd and perform that well without a crowd was absolutely insane. I'm giving Raw a 9. Over here on SmackDown, I'm going to give them a 6. I'm going to give them a 7 because I enjoyed Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. I enjoyed King Corbin and Elias as well. Otis and Braun was okay. That promo was all right. Oh, man, that's annoying. But yes, I thought both shows were pretty decent this week. Let me know your guys' ratings down in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. BrettO Live out.